PM Modi wants doctors to prescribe generic medicines over branded ones. What is a generic drug? What are the efforts by the government to promote the use of generic drugs? Why generic drugs are cheaper compared to branded drugs? How can the government ensure that generics are also safe for the patient? What needs to be done to cap the drug pricing in India? GS Paper 2, Issues related to health, education and human resources. What is the context about? PM Modi has indicated that his government may bring in a legal framework under which doctors will have to prescribe generic medicines, which are cheaper than equivalent branded drugs, to patients. If a doctor writes a prescription, he has to write in it that it will be enough for patients to buy a generic medicine, and he need not buy any other medicine, he said. What is a generic drug? A generic drug is a medication that has exactly the same active ingredient as the brand name drug and yields the same therapeutic effect. It is the same in dosing, safety, strength, quality, the way it works, the way it is taken, and the way it should be used. Generic drugs do not need to contain the same inactive ingredients as the brand name product. What are the efforts by the government to promote the use of generic drugs? Most recently, a country-wide campaign has been underway to ensure availability of generic medicines under the Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana. A total 861 PMBJ Kendras are functional in 28 states, at which 99 private manufacturing companies, certified by the World Health Organization, have been impaneled to supply generic drugs, specially manufactured and packed for the PMBJP. Why generic drugs are cheaper compared to branded drugs? When a company develops a new drug, often after years of research, it applies for a patent, which prohibits anyone else from making the drug for a fixed period. To recover the cost of research and development, companies usually price their brand name drugs on the higher side. Once the patent expires, other manufacturers duplicate and market their own versions of the drug. Since the manufacture of these generic drugs do not involve a repeat of the extensive clinical trials to prove their safety and efficacy, it costs less to develop them. Generic drugs are, therefore, cheaper. How can the government ensure that generics are also safe for the patient? The government has to clarify how it will ensure that once a doctor prescribes the generic drug, detailing its medical composition, the pharmacist or chemist will give the most appropriate drug to the patient. What needs to be done to cap the drug pricing in India? Unethical and unfair drug selling practices, such as holiday trip offers and fancy gifts, used to influence doctors and key bureaucrats, need to be curbed. Low-cost diagnostic capabilities, generic drug stores and low-frills hospitals that provide affordable care can be considered. With innovative policy making, the troika of quality, affordability and access can be achieved. Thus, India's drug pricing regime remains ripe for change.